Yes, I can see the approval of the agenda.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna have a motion by someone.
Motion made to approve the agenda of
Second.
February.
Okay, it's to approve the agenda. Hearing none. Aye.
I'm getting a message that his network bandwidth is low, but I
That's-
approve the agenda.
Okay, that's the message I get
Okay.
as well.
I just my bandwidth checked here and it's 300 megs. I don't know what's going on.
Ready for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, stand by.
Okay,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay,
all right, I have to go back to it. iPhone, that's William. Minutes,
You need approval?
yes. Can you see them?
Yes, motion made to approve the minutes.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't there, so.
second.
Okay,
Any discussion? Hearing
None.
none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
all right. Agenda for March 4th?
I'm not,
Can you see it?
See it.
You can see it?
there.
I changed, because we have the electronic, public comments up. I changed the wording, for instructions saying where to find the, form and so forth.
Okay, so why are we at Hilton Head Island again?
Yes, we are.
That's the third time in a row?
Yes, because we had board work sessions here and you all's vote says we have to be equal number of times between Hilton Head. So this year we're at Hilton Head 12 times and the disc 11 times. We have a work session here at the end of March. So the meeting in March is here.
Is
I lost you.
Yeah, this is,
Um,
can you,
Dick, we're not being able to hear you.
oh, for crying out loud.
Oh, there you are. We can hear you. There you are. We can hear you. There you
go,
go.
go, go.
Go.
Don't move.
Don't move. We got you.
Say it again. Are we the work? So we're not,
So the work session is March 28th here at the district office. So we are at Hilton Head on March 4th. Did I get that?
Ed.
Okay.
Matter, personal ratification report, adult education monthly report, update. Ms. Crawford.
Do we need to start before 5 o'clock?
let's, can you hear me?
In and
Can you
out,
hear
sir. Yes.
Okay. I went through the first two items, the employment matter and the adult education matter. We're now at the legal update, and I need to hear from Ms. Cartledge. What
Can you
updates?
all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Colonel Geyer and board members, for my legal update, I will only need about 10 minutes at the most. I will be
All right.
very brief. I'll be very brief.
All right. The DESC phase 2 is the next one item on there, right?
Yes.
And what does that involve?
The next 4 things are from Robert. So those are all Robert's items.
Okay. Do we know how much time Robert's going to need to present those 4 items?
No, and Dr. Rodriguez is not on. He's the one who gave those to me, so he has not gotten on yet.
Well, it's very difficult to say whether or not starting at 5 o'clock will be sufficient time.
1, 2, 3, 4. I know normally personnel and adult are real quick. If Wendy is real quick, 3. Let me call and see if I know where Dr. R is. How are we doing agenda setting and we're on your items for executive session? How much time do you need? We have the disc phase 2, St. Helena interior renovations, Joseph Shanklin interior renovations, and Bluffton negotiation for encroachment permit. For all of it? Okay, all right. Let me know, thanks. Robert says he needs 30 minutes for all of it.
That's pushing the time a little bit. What do you think, Carlton and Ingrid? Do you think we can do it in an hour?
I don't think so. I would add at least 15 minutes, Colonel.
What do you think, Ingrid?
Yeah, I don't think we can do that in an hour because I think that a couple of those items are going to generate some discussion.
Yeah. Let's give it a 4:30
Yep.
start.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have public session and action is necessary. Approval of agenda, pledge of allegiance, moment of silence, statement of media notification, student performance. We have any student performances scheduled?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Points of celebration. We don't have Dr. Rodriguez on, so we don't know.
And Kristen is out, so she'll give me those things when she gets back into the office. So
Okay. Then we have first public comments.
Yeah.
Chair's report. Carlton and Ingrid, I plan to announce the speakers at the graduation ceremonies representing the school board. Do you have any objection to that?
None
sir.
whatsoever.
Ingrid?
Oh, sorry. Can you guys not hear me? No, that sounds great.
Okay. All right. Committee reports. We got an academic report.
Colonel, I'd like to add a legislative report. We're going to have a meeting on February 26th.
Oh, that's
Good.
right. I forgot.
February 20 what?
26th. Maybe 20.
Okay.
No, 26. Yep, 26.
Okay.
Yep. Dr. Rodriguez is coming in now.
Okay. Is there any other committee reports that you know of that could come up?
Those are the only two that are scheduled to meet currently.
Okay. Dr.
Afternoon.
Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez, we're at the superintendent's report, and you have a student achievement parent support program.
Sir, that's correct. Thank you. Apologize for my delay. Having spoken to a couple board members, one of the things I realized is that with so many new board members, and even with some of our current board members, there's not a clear understanding of what the school district already has in place around a parent support program. And so I see this as a good opportunity to cover that. And so we placed that on the agenda under student achievement because it's all tied to the support programs that we have, and all of that's connected to helping prepare a child for school and their readiness for school.
Okay. Sounds good. What else? Anything else?
Sure, that's all on this agenda. There was a lot in executive session, I know. So
Yes, we added a half hour, went to 4:30.
I agree.
Okay. We should have some better revenue reports by the 4th of March. It might be worthwhile having Ms. Crosby give us a revenue update.
We can do that. We'll put that under fiscal responsibility and just provide a brief update on that.
Yeah, just revenue updates, all we need to put in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, she may not be there, but it may be somebody from her team that'll cover.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Carlton or Ingrid, do you have anything else that you would like to see in the superintendent's report?
Nope.
I have one item that I've not heard anything on it, and I count that as a positive in the community, which is if it's appropriate at this point in time to sort of just give a very, very brief update on the phone ban. It seems to be a non-entity at this point.
Pretty much, but we are happy to do that. I would put that under other matters.
Okay, good. That completes your superintendent's report, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Board business action, May River batting cage donation and Beaufort Memorial Hospital donation. Okay. Do we have any other business action?
Not currently.
Okay. Consent agenda, work session minutes, board meeting minutes, That's fine. Future agenda topics, we'll ask for future agenda topics. We'll have announcements and our second public comments.
Also under other board agenda topics, I put on, we are scheduled to have the joint SIC on March 13th. And so I wanted to know if we can just use the agenda that was not used in December or January, if we would just use the same agenda for March 13th. But to let you all know, that meeting is scheduled on the 13th. And I was going to reach out to Bluffton High School, let everything be the same. That was where we were planning it, and use the same agenda, if that was okay.
Ingrid and Carlton, any problems with that?
None whatsoever, sir.
Robin, what was on the agenda? Refresh my memory. I know.
I'll pull it up for you. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Can you see it? Get bigger.
The one that I thought, I'm sorry.
No.
Ms. Boatwright speaking.
No,
Can
no.
you see it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Discussion on topics of interest was how do we gather the vast resources we have in our community and put them to work in our schools? How can we get retired teachers back into the classroom to support the many vacancies that still impact our student population? Progress in or preliminary results on cell phone bans. So those were the agenda items from the SICs that turned in.
So basically every SIC submitted suggestions, and then there were more than 3, right?
No, they were asked to submit, but Kristen did not get suggestions from every SIC. She basically got 4 or 5. So we went with those 3.
Huh, it's funny. I mean, I go to a lot of SIC meetings on Hilton Head, so maybe Hilton Head does its own thing. The cell phones for sure come up. Retired teachers and the vast resources and how we put them to work in our schools, I don't think are something that any of my SICs are talking about.
Well, she got that from that's a request from, and it's basically some of the same SICs who attend all of our meetings. So there's a group of, not a group, but there are people who on a regular basis submit, but it's very few in number.
Yeah, I might reach out to the SIC chairs and ask them why they didn't submit. And, because I think it's just for me to, we have a lot of meetings. We got a lot of meetings in March. We got budget meetings. I'd like it to be something, where it's not just a small handful of SICs. Because my opinion is that first question's super vague. It's sort of like we could also have a discussion on topics of interest about improving academic performance. And, it's just, it's going to be a wide ranging discussion. How can we get retired teachers back into the classroom? That's operational. I mean, the board, I don't know. What do you guys think, Colonel and Carlton?
I mean, whatever you want us to make the agenda, that's. But
I don't love those first 2 questions. The one is a good question, but it's super broad, so it's not going to have a targeted conversation. How can we get retired teachers back into the classroom? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of SITs who think, yeah, it'd be great to, but it's a very operational question. It involves HR and, a lot of other stuff. So I'm not sure how productive that discussion will be, but I would, like to hear from my other 2 colleagues.
Carlton, go ahead.
Yeah, when I read this from the January 23rd meeting, I thought that second question, which had not been on my radar before, but it has of late, like in the last 6 weeks, I've had conversations where people talk about teachers that have left us and actually gone, for example, working at St. Francis or other private schools. And if there's a way to entice them back, maybe not as teachers, but we talked about support for the teachers as being a job enrichment opportunity. So if there's a way that we could empower the administration to go out and look, are there alternatives that might be helpful? And like Ms. Boatwright is saying, I think that would be something to tee up. It may not be a very hefty conversation, but at least it gets people thinking about it.
I think on the first topic, if I may, the district is a large entity with lots of different areas. So, I think the idea is that if there are people with rich experiences in their old background that may not have been classroom experiences, but maybe, for example, look what we did with the clock, right? We tapped into some of the vast resources and expertise in our community, and it may not be about specifically the classroom, but you have accountants, you have individuals with project management experience as an example, and you tap into those and leverage those vast resources from within our community to support the system in one capacity or another. So it's not, I don't see it necessarily as specifically a classroom or specifically improving outcomes in terms of the academic outcomes. It could be, but I saw that question as possibly more and leveraging more expertise in other areas.
And I can support that.
Well, and let me say, I agree. The way it's phrased is vague. If you want to say, how do we engage the community to do, because the problem is if you're, well, that's just it's not that I think it's comparable to, it's just such a vague, not a vague question, but such a large question when you're trying to get two groups together. If you want it to be productive, in my opinion, you have a more specific question. But I mean, maybe we just see where the conversation goes.
I mean, and Ms. Boatright, I'm just speaking about how I interpreted the question. You know what I mean? Not, I don't know how it was meant, but
Yeah,
that's
no,
how
I get it.
interpreted it. Yeah.
I made an inartful comparison. I just, if you have these wide ranging conversation, you've got a bunch of different people together, you can have a lot of conversation at the end, not have any, actionable steps or plans.
Sure.
That's kind of,
Sure.
that was kind of what I was driving with that. But I think what you're saying about is, you're talking about how do we increase community engagement? That could be, anyway, that was just sort of my response.
If I can add to this, I agree with question number 2 is operational and not really in the venue of a SIC. In the number 1 question, though, I would really like to see SIC representatives brief one another on what initiatives they have implemented in their particular schools to increase community support and involvement. For example, I would love to have the Will Branch talk about the Extra Mile Club and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and other items or other systems that they put in place to increase community involvement, and share that type of information, and have the other schools, if they have similar programs or no programs, could learn from what has been done in other schools, and we could share experiences. What do you think?
If you're asking, broadly, I like that idea. I actually stopped the Quail Branch has this group called Cyber Patriots, which I'd never heard of before. They sent a thank you card for something that I guess it was because I went out there and engaged on some different items, particularly broadband. And they sent the card. And so I'm wondering, who are these kids? Who are these people? And I went out there, and they have a tremendous cybersecurity program class led by a teacher called Mr. Williams, and it was phenomenal. And I'm sure there are other iterations of that, but I was not aware of them. So I think to the point that you're making, this is one of the ways to show people what's happening elsewhere, and I think that's a good thing.
And Colonel, I like your approach. I think that 100% addresses my concern in that if you tell them, tell us what you're doing that you think is working, that potentially other SICs could take back to their constituent schools and have that conversation, I think that would be tremendously more productive. The Cyber Patriot program is a great program. It's at many of our schools, but it is a way that I think we can engage people. So that's what I would love to hear as a board member is other schools. What are you doing? What's working? What have you implemented and realized that this is not going to, achieve the desired results? If we framed it that way, I would be much more satisfied with that as a question.
And I can support that.
Okay, let's go ahead and Robin, would you rephrase that first topic? You don't have to do it right now. Give us a shot at it and send it out to the three of us, and we'll massage it a little bit. Let's do away with question number 2, and then let's keep the cell phone piece on there, and that should be plenty.
Got it. Okay.
Is that okay with Ingrid and Carlton?
Absolutely.
I'm much happier with that agenda. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And we seem to have everything on there. Is there other board members that want to have some input?
You have William and Chloe is here in the office.
Okay. Chloe, do you have any input?
Thank you, Chairman. I think I asked.
Can you hear her?
Yes, we can.
Go ahead.
I think I asked last month about an update from our security.
They put that for a work session.
It's a work session. Okay, well, thank you. That's all I have. Interesting conversation. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Mr.
Okay.
Smith, Mr. Smith, do you have anything you want to add?
I was going to ask about the agenda. You were saying something about speakers at graduation. What was that in
Yes. Yes. What I'm proposing to do is have, instead of the chair giving the board address at each of the graduation ceremonies, that a separate member of the board would give that address based on their constituency. For example, Ms. Boatwright would give the graduation address for the board at Hilton Head. Carlton Dallas would give the graduation address at Bluffton High School. Victor Ney would give the graduation address at May River. I would give the graduation address at Battery Creek, and Pastor Gordon would give it at Whale Branch, and you would give it at Beaufort High. And I wanted to announce that and see if there was any major issues with doing that.
Mr. Chair, and listening to that, the concept is good. It's okay, except you leave out 5 board members.
Well, and understand we only have 6 schools, so
That's what I'm saying. So that to me, that's not equitable when you're leaving out 5 board members who may want to say something at that graduation.
well, I understand. And what I thought we would do is that if you gave it, for example, Mr. Smith would give it this year, and then you would give it the next year, because basically let the senior board members go first, and we really don't have time in the program. We only have about 5 to 10 minutes in the program, and we don't have time for multiple. For example, Beaufort High is covered by part of my district, part of your district, part of Will Smith's district, and so having 3 people do it at one time just would take too long.
Well, I don't see a problem with just having the 1 or 2 people do it, but I have an issue. That's just me, with rotating, because the next year, I mean, who's to say I'll be here next year, or but that's just my piece. I think you're leaving out 5 board members, and I think that should be discussed. And
Okay, we can do that.
That's
we
all
can
done.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, you had something to say?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other questions, sir?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. So I think we have covered everything. Do we have a unanimous consent to adjourn?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
We're out of here.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very
Bye,
much.
Colonel Guile.